Welcome, you are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week 16, National Football League, Sunday Night Football. Wow, you're supposed to show up on primetime. Lights are bright, everybody's watching, you're on. Man, I tell you what, this was embarrassing on so many different levels. I can't even begin to explain how embarrassing this was, the effort that the Chicago Bears put forth against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Eagles knew they had nothing to play for in this game. Nada. They knew that because the Cowboys had won against the Washington Redskins, that it was going to come down to Week 17. Sunday night, Cowboys, Eagles. They already knew that no matter what they did in this game, they had to win in Week 17 to get to the postseason and win the NFC East. Flip side, though, the Bears, everything had been carved out beautifully for them. Lions lost to the Giants at home. Packers lost to the Steelers at home. So all they had to do was go on the road and beat a Philadelphia Eagles team that had nothing to play for. Nothing. And you know what I'm about to say. And I thought that they were going to show up with one of their best efforts of the year because they knew what was on the line. Let's not have to win in Week 17 versus the Green Bay Packers, who could be led by Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what that saga is going to unfold and what that whole situation is going to be in Green Bay. We don't know if this will be the week where the doctors say, hey, Aaron, go ahead and play. Don't worry about it. Go ahead and play. You don't know when he's going to come back. You don't want to be the team that he comes back on, though. For the season, on the line, for the chance to go to the postseason as the NFC North champions, you don't want that. So let's not even let it come to that. Win this game, win the division. That's all you have to do. Instead, they walked into Philly and they got their asses handed to them. And you know what I'm about to say. Good old-fashioned, passionate ass whooping and got their shoes, coat, and their hat taken. And they didn't even put up a fight. That was the part of this that was so disgusting. They didn't even put up a fight. Philly bullied these guys, and they had no answers. They didn't even try to put up a fight. They let the Eagles serve up an atomic ass whooping. Their ass is still red. It's still stinging from the beatdown that Philly gave them. They beat the brakes off of these boys. And it was crazy because me and my dad, I watched all the Sunday games from 1 to 7 at my dad's house this weekend. And I went to my parents' house, watched the games there, and I always leave right before the Sunday night game, and I get home. And normally, on a good night, I'll get home just in time before I miss any of the game. If I run into a little bit of traffic, I'll get home. I'll miss the first couple of minutes of the game. So I get home, and I've missed the first couple of minutes of the game. Well, you know, like I know, if you miss the first couple of minutes of the game, it was 14-0. Just like it was a couple of weeks ago when I came home and Denver had jumped all on top of the Patriots at home and at New England. And it was 14-0 before I could even get in front of my TV, and I turned it on, and I told you, I was like, what happened? What's going on? What the hell is going on out there? That's how I felt when I showed up Sunday night, Bears, Eagles. I'm thinking the Bears are going to show up, play some really good football because they know what's on the line. And I turn on my television set, and I'm all excited. I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be a good game. And let me tell you something. Before I turn the TV on, my dad said that Philadelphia was going to lose this game. And I said, Bros, who you got tonight? Because we're playing football pools, and I'm like, who's you picking the game tonight? And he said, oh, Philly ain't winning. They're not good enough on defense. Them big receivers for Chicago. My dad's from the island, so he's got a little bit of accent. They got some big receivers. They ain't going to be able to play with them. They're not going to win this game. And I said, Boss, really? You really think that terrible Bears defense is going to be able to stop this juggernaut Eagles offense from scoring at home? If this was in Chicago, maybe. Maybe, just maybe. But at home, you really feel like the Eagles? This isn't the Eagles from earlier in the season that couldn't buy a home win. It's a different Eagles football team. Playing with confidence. They understand what they have to do in Chip Kelly's offense now. This defense, not good. Like my dad was saying, they're not very good. Okay? Not very good. But they get it done. And against this Bears offense, I think they'll be able to do some things. Jay Cutler still doesn't scare me. I told you, I felt like Josh McCown was better suited to take this team to the playoffs than Jay Cutler was. But that's nor here nor there. That's a discussion for another day. Forget about all that. What this all boiled down to was that the Eagles wanted this game more. And they didn't even need it. They just wanted this more. They went out and they took it to the Bears on every level imaginable. Every facet of the game was dominated by Chicago. And I turned on my television set. So like I said, I got home. I'm excited. Turn on the TV. I'm like, so I pick up the phone. I get Boss on the phone. That's my dad. I get Boss on the phone. Hello, Boss. You still think Philadelphia gonna lose this game? Still think Chicago gonna win? And he couldn't say nothing. And that's essentially what the Bears did. Nothing in this game. Nothing. And the onslaught was on. And so I had to go back in the archives and figure out, how did we get to 14-0? Well, you go 3 and out. You punt the football, and your punter punts a 25-yard punt, gives the Eagles prime field position. They go down and they score a touchdown. Okay, so you kick it off. You're like, okay, Devin has to get his hands on the football. He's about to try to make a little something happen. And he gets a solid return. But one thing, he forgot about the football. Eagles ripped that out. Great play by Fletcher Bradley on the play. Or Bradley Fletcher, I think it's. Yeah, Bradley Fletcher. So many damn Bradleys and Fletchers on this team. And, yeah, and he rips it out. Fumble. Eagles recover. They go right back down the field, score another touchdown. And that's the type of night it was. Every time the Eagles touched the ball, they were getting some type of points. Field goal, touchdown, didn't matter. I mean, the Bears could do nothing right in this game. And then you thought, well, they could make this into a shootout then. If that's what the Eagles want to do, they want this to be a shootout. This could be an old-fashioned gunslinging fest right here. You know, bullets flying, points scored everywhere. But the Bears, they didn't want to participate. They didn't want to participate. They wanted no part of the Eagles. They wanted no part of this game. And that's the disappointing part about this. I swear, if I could take an NFC North team out of the, and just not have a participant from this division this year, and give their playoff spot to the Arizona Cardinals, I would. Because nobody in that division deserved to be in the postseason. Every single one of those teams had an opportunity to do some damage, to make headway in that division to try to win it in Week 16. And every single team in that division lost. No pride about themselves. Every team in that division lost. Despicable. And the Bears were the most embarrassing of them all. Shady ran the football on them. Hey. Riley Cooper catching touchdown passes left and right. Brent Selleck doing what he want to do. Nicholas Foles just rifling footballs all over the field. This was a straight up beatdown. And it's like, you ever been on a sports team? I used to see this all the time in high school. You know, when you lose a game, you get beat up pretty bad. And the guys that don't play, the guys on the bench, they don't give a damn. You know, they're just along for the ride. They could care less. And after the game, you know, people want to know, man, how do you feel, man? And you know, you ask them, and because they're smiling and they're joking and they're laughing, they could care less. They're like, I don't give a damn, man. I could care less. I didn't get in the game. They didn't beat me up. They beat them up. That's what it felt like the Bears were doing in this game. I don't care. I won't need this game anyway. It don't count. We still can win next week and win the division. It seemed like after they started getting beat up, they just resigned to the fact that we don't need this game. We can win next week and still win the division. And that's the wrong attitude to have. Man, was this a total annihilation or what? And like I said, the Eagles need to win the NFC East. They're the better team. They're better than the Cowboys. And they're going to put up more of a fight when they get into the postseason. And so I believe the Eagles will get in. And there's been conflicting reports about Tony Romo and his back. You got some people saying he's got a herniated disc and he needs surgery. And you got Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett saying, oh, it's just back spasms. He's day-to-day. He can play. So I don't know who to believe because the Cowboys could be lying to us just to kind of give the Eagles something else to think about. while Kyle Orton is taking all the first team reps. Or it could be a serious situation where he really needs surgery. Or it could be a situation where they got their reports wrong. You know, Adam Schefter, Chris Mortensen, and all the media outlets that said, hey, he needs surgery, they could just be wrong. They could have jumped the gun. Who knows? But normally, when you get all of these different reports and everybody's saying the same thing, he's out for the season, chances are he's out for the season. You don't get guys like Adam Schefter and Chris Mortensen reporting on stuff that's usually not factual. Now, look, everybody can make a mistake. Anybody can make a mistake. You know, and anybody can jump the gun. But normally, when something like that is that big of a story, you always check your sources 3 and 4 times, and you make sure that it's a legit source and that it's factual before you go out and you start reporting it to the masses. It's hard for me to believe that Tony Romo will play in this game in Week 17. And even if he does, I still feel like the Eagles are the better team. But even if he doesn't, this Eagles team has this game in the bag, and I think they're going to win whether he plays or not. I just think the Eagles are the better football team between the two, and they showed it in this game. I mean, the Bears are potentially a playoff team. The same Bears team that destroyed the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, this Eagles team took them behind the woodshed and tore them a new one. I mean, they really beat the brakes off of this Bears team. And so I feel like the Eagles are playing the better football of those two teams, and they're going to get that nod as the NFC East champions, and they deserve it. I mean, they've persevered. They were once 3-5 in the season, and they just played some exceptional football down the stretch. I tip my cap to them, and I want to see what draw they get in the postseason because, again, they could be playing New Orleans. They could be playing San Francisco. They want no part of the San Francisco 49ers. None. They want no part of the 49ers, do these Eagles. None. And I don't even know if they want any part of the Saints because their defense isn't that good. But I tell you what, if they fly, Eagle fly, like this on the Saints could be in trouble too because the Saints don't travel well and they got to go on the road now. So we'll see. We will see. Week 17 has a lot in store for a lot of teams because if Carolina wins, then the Saints are your wild card. If Carolina loses and the Saints win, then you got to play. And you really don't want any part of Carolina because they can go on the road and beat you. So it's all about, and look, you haven't won anything yet. You still got to go and beat Dallas, but I feel like you're going to do that. So we'll see. For the Bears, what an embarrassing effort. I'm ashamed to even be able to say that this team can still make it to the postseason. They don't deserve to go anywhere. Again, if I could revoke the playoff berth of the NFC North and give it to the Arizona Cardinals, a team that's actually going to win 10 games, 11 games this season. If I could revoke the NFC North automatic bid from winning their division, if I could take that away and hand it to the Cardinals, boy, you bet you I would. I would take it away so fast, every team in that division's head would spin. Because every team in that division doesn't deserve to go anywhere. They all stink. All of them. Pathetic. Eagles get to win 54-11. 54-11. Damn, have some pride about yourself. Stand up. You're on prime time with the division on the line, and you get 54 with a 50 burger put on your head. Despicable. Get the hell out of my face. That's going to do it for this installment of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. That happens in the National Football League, whether big or small. We cover it all here in the Lab Room. God damn it. Philly's going to win the NFC East. And Chicago, I hope you lose. Because this was despicable. Even the Packers, with a backup quarterback in Matt Flynn, they show up every week and give it a run. You got your starting quarterback and you get your ass handed to you in a nice little doggy bag. They folded it up nice and neat and handed it to you, partner, and you did nothing about it. Get out of here. Got many more games to break down in Week 16. Come back and join me as I continue to break down Week number 16, the National Football League. Damn Bears.